So, welcome to game number 4 here. VortiX is going to be spawning in on the northern side of the map, playing as the Mongols here on his home map regions.
His opponent playing in the color orange, and currently right now on match point, playing as the Chinese. It is 3DB.io, super quick coming out. No second scout this time like we saw in the third game, but you see his hands behind his back, but he is pulling some magic tricks back there.
He sure is. And VortiX, we take a look at his spawn. It's not terrible. I mean, the Uber's pretty close to the TC here. Gold behind the back of the base. Not terrible, not the best. I wouldn't say it's anything special. So, we'll have to see what he does here, because I'm really curious as to why he's picked Mongols on this map. No trade post means no trade for him. And that's what the Mongols love doing. So, it looks like it is going to be a tower rush coming out from him. Let's take a look at B's base. What do you think of a tower rush here from VortiX?
You just panned back to the back of the base, and that's why I'm like, oh, of course. You know, look at this China spawn. You got gold in the back. You got stone in the back. Your berries and your sheep, where your mill's going to go, is in the back. The only thing you can really tower is a wood line that's up there to the north. That's pretty much it. Unless you want to get your spearmen. Again, those spearmen going to be coming out like Noah's Ark, 2 at a time, right? But they're going to be matriculating their way south all the way around, probably go to that eastern wood line, and they'd probably have to wrap around it so they don't get hit by the hand cannon slits for the Chinese town center if they wanted to tower any kind of really good resources like gold and stone, because the stone he's going to want to do if he wants to have a second town center. The gold, obviously, he needs for reasons for aging, of course. So it's going to be difficult for VortiX to really get that going. And while I've been talking, Merlin, we're already 2 minutes, 15 seconds into the game. It's going to take another probably 20 seconds for him to get there. He'll be able to get to feudal. He's not going to stop that.
Yeah, this is going to be a rough one for VortiX. Has he actually scouted this? He hasn't even scouted it, so he doesn't know exactly where to go. He does have the Khan here now. Obviously, he's had to scout a lot of the map for the sheep, so he doesn't run out at home. But once he spots this out, he's going to realize he's got a bit of a rough spawn here when it comes to gold, stone, and berries. I mean, maybe you can somehow get a tower up over here, as we do see that villager has been pulled as well. I would imagine this is the prime position, but we see there B already dropping down the Barbican. That's the first landmark that he's going to be going up with. Really, really nice spot here. Secures up all 3 resources. I think VortiX will still be able to deny away the stone. But B, he has the most important resources, right? The gold and the berries and the sheep. So, and also the woodline, right? He's got the woodline up to the north.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if I'm VortiX seeing that spawn, especially with the Khan seeing the Barbican already placed, I don't know. If I'm VortiX, I'm like, ay Dios mio, I have no idea what to do. And this outpost is only about 20% done. It's going to take another 30 to 40 seconds. And this is where we're seeing the glaring issues with the Mongolians right now. Maybe there'll be a little bit of a change in Season 5, but it's not only spawn dependent for you, it's spawn dependent for the other player, because this is not a very tower rushable area. So, you know, with the Mongols, and then especially in feudal, to carry that out once this game actually gets to feudal for VortiX and Deerstones come out, there isn't really a good army composition for him in feudal age. It feels like for the Chinese, if they do go Song Dynasty, they get some Zugnu, they can take out any unit that the Mongolians want to make in feudal.
CB is going to be chopping a little bit of wood. We're going to have to see what he looks to do here. Maybe he looks to add in some spearmen. Could possibly be the case. Try and rush this down, because he's not going to be able to make a second TC here. And we see stone for him. Both spawn in the center of the map here. At least the stone that isn't in the base, right? They both spawn in the middle here. And VortiX, we see, is going to be edging up here with the deer stones. Obviously, no silver tree, as suspected.
Yeah, and that's a good segue to talk about the map, actually, with those stone mines there, because you can see the 3 gold veins in the center. On the eastern side of the map, you have all of those berries. On the western side of the map, you have all of the deer. So we talked a lot about how map control is super important, and now, you know, this kind of solidifies it because of the stone up there. So that tower is going to have a kind of delayed response. B has to go 1 town center, but the Chinese are super adaptable, right? And once they get to feudal age, they didn't go for Zugnu because they didn't go Song Dynasty. They just have archers. I haven't seen a Chinese archer in a long time. But for him also, he can just go into one town center with a little bit of an aggression factor, take the fight to VortiX and feudal. And I think it could pay off.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about Mongol trade either, right? That's something that is usually something that you got to be worrying about all the time when you're facing up against the Mongols. But V here doesn't really have to worry about it too much. So, you know, VortiX's economy isn't going to get too out of hand here unless he looks to go for maybe multiple town centers. We've seen it before from the Mongols, right, where they look to grab improved double broad axe, just look to chop a whole load of wood and get down multiple town centers. As for the Mongols, they only cost wood, 900 wood right there, so could possibly be the case. But VortiX now looking to add in horsemen. The horseman upgrade does come through, but B, he's already got quite a decent force here. We see 4 archers, 3 spears. It's going to be plenty here to hold up against the horsemen from VortiX.
Yeah, and I think with that little Vanguard mass, he's going to be able to take it to him just because of the Mongolian spawn, right? That Uvu's right in front. It's torchable. You can sit where the production is, so he can't really mass up. Or if he wants to go all the way around to the back of the base, there's a gold mine there that's free for raiding too. So B, I mean, he's going a more aggressive route, and I think we're going to see it pay off.
I think we are. This production all just sitting here. Luckily, VortiX can just pack it up and move it towards the back of the base, but that means he won't get the double production in, right? And this Ubu will be going down if he's not careful as well. But VortiX, for the time being, going to be double producing archers here. And with that, it looks like it may be enough here to be able to clean up this force. B only has 2 spears remaining, which are being focused down by the Khan, by the archers. And B now has to fall back. 7 archers here. Needs to be super careful with not losing this force.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, those archers popped out just in time for the Mongols, and VortiX is using most of his stone to get these out at 2 at a time. He had enough archers there with about 3 or 4. He's not necessarily going to one-tap a spearman, but it's enough firepower to make those spearmen move in the opposite direction. VortiX now trying to bolster his economy up just a little bit, going for a pasture too, which is going to help him because that food economy and the sheep that actually come out of the pasture is going to be the only stable source of income that's not raidable for him.
Yeah, kind of interesting. He does have a deer pack towards the back of the base here. He could look to, you know, gather from that, but as you say, can be a little bit raidable. B hasn't gone for Song Dynasty here. I thought by this point in time he would have looked to have gone for that route. We see here the gold vein isn't in radius of this outpost, so B can gather from here, and he has the Barbican sitting right next to it where he can garrison all of his vills. So a little bit curious to see why he's not gone for that route, but it seems like at the moment he just wants to pump out a lot of production. We see him now going into horsemen as well.
Yeah, now all of these players are going to go for a rock, paper, scissors kind of orientation, right? With your spears, with your archers, with your horsemen. Now for B, again, continuing just on the normal archers, which is continuing to be perplexing for me. I think he has the ability to drop an Imperial Academy if he wanted to, and that could help him in the taxes, and that could help him in the villager differentiation as well. I mean, now that we're about 3 or 4 minutes out of a normal Song Dynasty, you'd probably have a lot more villagers. Might drop a couple, though. Definitely some idle time. Good raid by VortiX there in the north.
Yeah, it doesn't have any sort of upgrades through for the time being, so it's still going to be taking quite a bit of damage from the Chinese town center here. There we do finally see Steeled Arrow coming through for VortiX. No upgrades coming through here for B. Maybe looking towards going Song Dynasty now. Song Dynasty would be really nice for him just to slowly creep ahead when it comes to the villages without necessarily adding in a second town center. You know, it's just sort of that slow inclination with Song Dynasty. We see he has enough resources, but do you think we could possibly be seeing Castle Age? No, okay, never mind. Instantly dropping down that Imperial Academy.
Yeah, and I think it's important to get that up as soon as possible, not just for the military, for the Zugnu, but exactly right with the incremental increase to the villager count. Again, with Chinese Song Dynasty, villagers come out every 15 seconds instead of a 20 for VortiX. So you wait a full minute, Chinese have 4 villagers, you have 3.
VortiX is starting to put up quite an army, though. We see his army value around 900 ahead for the time being. And B, he's out here on the deer. He has no food left at home. A little bit of food, but it's nothing substantial. So he needs to guard this position quite heavily, as we see VortiX going to be looking to get in some good charges there with his horseman. Not many spears remaining here for B. He's only got 3 left. This could be huge here for VortiX as he pops one of the arrows. I think that was the attack speed arrow here. So going to be able to get some great damage in. We see all of the spears have gone down. B has some reinforcing horsemen in here, but VortiX's spear arrive of his own. B going to be losing out on quite a few villagers here if he's not careful. Reinforcements. Oh my goodness, he called it. Just like that. B going to be tapping out, which means we go to game number 5.
Unbelievable. Everyone in chat is saying WTF, wow, what, wow, GG, wow, LOL. I agree with all of that. I did not think this game was over. I did see B on the western side of this battle, pulling the peasants, getting them shivs out, trying to take down some of those horsemen. But yeah, I mean, his spearman count was able to get reduced to 0, so those horsemen had a good surround. I don't know. It just felt like with B, like he still had a little bit of food, right? So I don't know. I don't think I would have necessarily called it, but maybe he saved us an extra 10 or 15 minutes. Who knows?